God knows that you are tired. Powerful message for chosen ones. God sees you right now. Not the composed version. Not the one that shows up for other people and handles things and keeps going. The actual you, the one underneath all of that. The one that is running on less than anyone around you realizes. The one that has been holding things together through a season that has asked more than it had any right to ask. And I need you to know something specific about what he sees. He is not disappointed by your exhaustion. He is not measuring your fatigue against some standard of spiritual endurance that you have been failing to meet. He is not waiting for you to recover your strength before he moves in your direction. He sees the tired. He knows the tired. And he sent this message today specifically for the version of you that is carrying what you are. Carrying right now, not for the stronger version you are planning to be once this season finally ends. This is for you, exactly as you are, right now. Let me describe what tired actually feels like when you are a chosen person in the middle of a season that will not relent. It is not the tiredness that sleep addresses. You have probably noticed that. You have slept sometimes adequately, sometimes not, and woken up carrying the same weight that you went to bed with. The exhaustion is not in your muscles. It is deeper than that. It is in the place where your faith and your reality meet, and where the gap between the two has been creating a specific, sustained, impossible to fully articulate pressure for longer than you have been comfortable admitting. You are tired of believing for things that have not yet arrived. Tired of maintaining the posture of expectation when the evidence available to your senses continues to argue against it. Tired of being the person who keeps going, who shows up, who carries the weight, who refuses to quit when the quitting would be so understandable that nobody who knew the full story would blame you for it. And underneath all of that tiredness, beneath the specific exhaustion of sustained, unrewarded faithfulness, is a question that you have probably not let yourself ask directly. Does he actually see this? Not theologically. You know the theology. Personally, does he see the specific weight of your specific season? Does he know the exact cost of the specific faithfulness you have been maintaining? Does it register somewhere, in some real dimension that you have been giving everything you have to something you cannot yet fully see? Today I want to answer that question, not with generic encouragement, with the specific, honest, personally addressed answer that the person carrying what you are carrying actually needs. Your exhaustion is not a spiritual failure. It is the evidence of real faithfulness, the first thing I want to dismantle. Because it has been adding unnecessary weight to an already heavy season, is the belief that exhaustion is a sign of insufficient faith. It is not. It is the opposite. Exhaustion in the life of a chosen person is the physiological and spiritual evidence of actual sustained effort, of showing up when showing up was genuinely costly, of maintaining faithfulness through seasons that provided no external reward for maintaining it, of being the person the calling required you to be on the days when that was genuinely difficult and nobody was applauding. The person who is not tired in a season like yours is not more faithful. They are less engaged. The weariness is the mark of genuine investment of someone who has been giving real things to real purposes in real ways that have real costs. God does not see your tiredness as weakness. He sees it as the evidence of everything you have given. And everything you have given has been recorded with a precision and a completeness that the tired, doubting part of you cannot currently access. Rest is not retreat, and exhaustion is not failure. They are simply what genuine faithfulness costs when it is maintained through seasons that require everything. He has not confused your silence with contentment. Here is something that the chosen person in a difficult season sometimes fears without fully articulating the fear. That because they have been managing, because the exterior has remained functional and the public face has remained composed, and the people around them have not fully seen the interior weight, God has somehow concluded that things are fine, that the maintained surface has communicated to heaven a contentment that the interior is nowhere near feeling. That fear is unfounded, and I want to address it clearly. He is not reading your exterior. He has full, complete, unobstructed access to the interior, to the specific weight, the specific doubt, the specific moments of near collapse that the composure covered, to the prayers that were too tired to be articulate, to the tears that arrived in private, to the specific cost of every day you continued when stopping would have been so much easier. None of that was missed. None of it was read as contentment because the surface remained intact. He knows the difference between the managed exterior and the true interior of the person maintaining it, and he has been responding to the interior, not the performance. The silence of your struggle did not communicate that everything was fine. It communicated something more specific and more significant, the faithfulness of someone who kept going even when the going had become genuinely, privately, honestly hard. The season that has made you tired is also the season that has built what the next chapter requires. I want to offer this truth with full acknowledgement of the pain that makes it difficult to receive. The season that has exhausted you has not only cost you, it has built you, simultaneously, in the same moments, through the same experiences. The cost and the construction have been happening at the same time, and the construction has been producing something that the ease of a different season never could have. The specific depth you now carry, the wisdom that comes from having navigated real difficulty without adequate resources, the resilience that comes from having continued when continuation was genuinely hard, the specific, tested, proven quality of faith that only forms under the kind of sustained pressure. This season has applied. None of that would exist without the season that produced it. Not meant to minimize the cost. The cost was real. It remains real, and it deserves to be acknowledged rather than spiritualized past. But alongside the acknowledgement of the cost, I want you to see, even if only partially, even if only for this moment, the construction. The person you are right now, having been through what you have been through, is more capable than the person who entered this season, more equipped for what is coming, more ready for the next chapter than any version of you that an easier path would have produced. The tiredness is real, and so is what it built. God has not been absent, he has been present in the provision you took for granted. This truth requires a specific kind of honesty, the kind that looks back rather than only forward. In the middle of the difficulty of this season, there have been moments of provision. Smaller than what you have been believing for, perhaps. Quieter than the breakthrough you have been praying toward. Arriving through channels. That required the right quality of attention to notice. The need that was somehow met when the meeting of it made no rational sense. The door that opened at precisely the moment the previous one closed. The person who appeared in your environment with exactly the word, the resource, or the connection that the season required at that specific moment. Those moments were not coincidence. They were presence. They were the specific, ongoing, never once interrupted care of a God who has not been watching from a distance, but who has been actively, continuously, and specifically involved in the maintenance of your life through a season that your own resources could not have sustained. He has not been absent. He has been present in the provision you may have received as relief without fully registering as care. Begin registering it. Let the evidence of past presence build the trust that the current season has been testing. Rest is not something you earn, it is something you are permitted. To receive this truth is specifically important for chosen people because the pattern of sustained faithfulness that defines the difficult season can install a specific and damaging belief about rest. That rest must be earned. That the permission to stop, to genuinely cease the effort, even temporarily, requires a threshold of completion that this season has not yet allowed to be reached. That the appropriate response to an unfinished season is continued straining rather than the deliberate, faith-expressing act of ceasing and trusting. That belief is not spiritually accurate, and it is costing you more than the rest would cost. Rest is not the absence of faith. For the chosen person in a demanding season, genuine rest, the deliberate, chosen, not yet finished ceasing of effort, is one of the most specific and powerful expressions of trust available. It says, I believe that what I have planted continues to grow even when I am not actively tending it. I believe that the building continues even when I am not personally doing the building. I believe that the one who called me to this does not require my constant straining to accomplish what he has purposed. That belief, expressed through actual rest, is not retreat. It is trust in its most practical form. And the chosen person who learns to rest without guilt, who receives the permission rather than waiting to earn it, returns to the building with a quality of presence that exhaustion never produces. The people who don't see your struggle don't get to define its worth. One of the specific pains of the chosen person's difficult season is the invisibility of it. The way the most significant, most costly, most faith-requiring dimensions of what you are navigating are precisely the ones that are least visible to the people around you. And in that invisibility lives a specific and dangerous opportunity for the enemy of your purpose, the accusation that if it were really as significant as you believe it to be, more people would see it. That the private nature of the struggle is evidence against its significance, rather than simply a feature of how chosen seasons operate. Dismiss that accusation completely. The worth of what you are building and the faithfulness with which you are building it are not determined by how many people can see the process. The most significant construction in the history of the world happened in silence, in preparation, and through seasons of difficulty that the watching world did not fully understand until the building was complete. Your season is significant because of what it is building, not because of how many people currently have visibility into the building process. The audience for what you are creating is at the destination, not on the path. Build faithfully, in the invisible, and trust that the significance of what is being constructed does not depend on how many people can currently see it. What you have been praying is being heard differently than you have been experiencing it. This truth requires honesty about the specific gap between prayer and experience that characterizes the tired, chosen person's current season. You have been praying, faithfully, persistently, sometimes desperately, and the gap between the prayers and the visible responses has created a specific, quiet, deeply personal uncertainty about whether the prayers are actually going anywhere, whether they are being received, whether the ceiling that they seem to be bouncing off of is real, or whether something on the other side is actually in motion. Here is what I want you to understand about that gap. The absence of immediate visible response is not the absence of reception. Prayer heard in heaven does not always or even primarily produce immediate visible changes in earthly circumstances. It produces movement in the unseen dimension that precedes the visible one. It initiates processes, positions people, orchestrates timing, and arranges circumstances in ways that become visible only after the preparation they require has been completed. Your prayers are not bouncing off a ceiling. They are entering a dimension that is more responsive to them than your circumstances currently suggest, and producing movement that is real, directed, and already in process, even though the material dimension of your life has not yet caught up to what has been set in motion. Keep praying, not because it feels like it is working, because it is working in the dimension that you cannot currently see. God is not asking you to be strong right now. He is asking you to be held. This might be the most important thing in this entire conversation for the specific person this was written for. The chosen person in a difficult season tends to interpret the call to keep going as a call to manufacture strength they do not currently have, to perform a faithfulness that feels genuine from the outside, but that is running on fumes internally, to be the strong one for themselves, for the people around them, for the purpose they are carrying, when what they actually need is permission to be held rather than to keep holding. That is not what is being asked. The strength that this season requires is not yours to manufacture. It is yours to receive, and the posture of receiving it, the open, honest, not performing posture of someone who admits that they are not adequate to the season in their own strength, and who is choosing to draw on something beyond themselves, is not weakness. It is the specific posture that makes divine strength available, because divine strength does not flow most powerfully into the person who is pretending they do not need it. It flows into the person who has become honest enough to stop pretending and open enough to actually receive what is being offered. You do not have to be strong today. You have to be willing to be held, and that willingness is all the strength this moment requires. The tired version of you is still the chosen version of you, last truth before the close, and possibly the one that needs the most direct saying. The designation on your life, the specific, God-given, calling-confirmed designation of chosen, does not lift when the season gets hard. It does not suspend when the exhaustion makes it difficult to feel. It does not transfer to someone who is performing their faith more impressively in this particular moment. It remains on you, on the tired, honest, not always certain, doing their best with what they have version of you that is the only version currently available. You do not have to earn the designation back. You never lost it. The difficult season is not evidence that the choosing was a mistake, or that someone else was supposed to carry what you were carrying. It is evidence that what you are carrying is significant enough to require exactly the kind of sustained, costly, invisible faithfulness that you have been maintaining. The tired version of you is still the chosen version. And the chosen version is still the one the calling belongs to. I want to close this conversation at the most honest and most personal place I know how to reach. God sees the tired. He has always seen the tired. He has not been waiting for you to recover before he moves in your direction. He has been moving in your direction through every day of the season that exhausted you. The provision has been real. The hearing has been real. The response has been real, operating in the dimension that precedes the visible, preparing what the visible season has not yet reflected. And the person you are right now, tired, honest, still here, still choosing faithfulness, is exactly the person he sees, exactly the person he loves, and exactly the person he has not and will not abandon in this season. Rest today if rest is what you need, not as retreat, as trust. And then when the rest has done what rest does, keep going. Not because the season has become easier, because you are the chosen one it belongs to. And the chosen one does not stop, not today, not in this season, not ever. If this conversation reached something in you today, if something specific was said that landed in a place that needed it, subscribe. Every week we bring you the kind of honest, deep, spiritually grounded truth that chosen people need at exactly the right moments. You are seen, you are held, and you are closer to the other side of this than any tired day of it has allowed you to feel. Keep going. He sees you, and he is already moving.